Hi, I've been asked to do a short reading from one of my books for the Children's Wish Foundation, so I'm doing a reading from Malcolm and the Hamster Lady, which is all about a boy, Malcolm, who wishes to help out an older lady by looking after her hamster while she was away. However, it doesn't turn out so good for the boy, Malcolm, but he finds a way to resolve the situation at the end. I'm reading from a chapter called In Trouble. Malcolm and the Hamster Lady. "Susie," I gasped, holding my little brother. "Where's Archibald? Do you know where Archibald is?" A horrible thought was taking shape in my mind. It was so horrible I didn't want to think about it. "Where's Archibald?" I asked Susie again. This time I tried to sound more coaxy. "I don't know." Susie shook his head and stuck his finger in his mouth again. Then he tried to press the cushion back down to the sofa. Some inner radar was telling me to whip off that cushion where I thought I had seen some hairs and a tiny white tooth. Sure enough, there was Archibald, not looking like Archibald, his fur all squished and flattened out like a dead rat. Well, he was dead as a doornail, and he was looking more like a rat now than ever. Just to clarify, Susie is Malcolm's little 2-year-old brother, and Archibald is the name of the hamster. I picked him up and shook him hard to see if he would wriggle or something, but it was no use. The hamster was gone to hamster heaven, or wherever good little hamsters go. I shook him and tried to open his tiny eyes. He didn't breathe and he didn't wriggle. He was gone all right. No more Archibald. Susie was holding up the finger that he had been scraped yesterday in his right thumb. That was swollen a little from when he had opened the cage and got another bite. This time I rushed into the bathroom and banished it so fast that I thought I would be a doctor instead of an airline pilot when I grow up. "See," said Susie, sticking up his finger like a trophy. "Archibald bad. Archibald hurt finger. Archibald bad. Kitty. I hide Archibald." Susie ran and grabbed up one of the sofa cushions. Then he picked up one of the little toys he had made from Lego blocks and stuck it underneath the cushion. He put the cushion back on the sofa and started jumping up and down on it. And of course, this is Susie here playing with Archibald, and it doesn't turn out too well. "I hide Archibald," he screamed gleefully. "I hide him good." Just then my mother came up from doing the laundry. She was carrying a big pink plastic basket with a load of Susie's clean rompers in it. "Ah, what is that?" She stopped dead in her tracks at the sight of the dead hamster dangling from the end of the sofa cushion. I decided to come clean and expect the worst. It's Mrs. D's hamster," I stammered, a knot in my stomach. "I offered to take care of him, but I didn't want you to know. And Susie tormented him, and he bit Susie, and well, Susie sat on him," I finished, the knot growing tighter. Here's his mother coming up and seeing all the what's after happening here. It wasn't necessary to state the obvious. My mother knew the score. She stared at the dead Archibald with a nauseous look on her face. Then she went to the fridge and poured herself a glass of water. "Malcolm Kirsten, she began as she drank it. "You have some serious explaining to do. You know you weren't permitted to bring any more pets in this house." She glanced at Archibald with a mixture of horror and sympathy on her face. "I know, but what do I do now?" I asked her, a sick feeling in the pit of my stomach. Mrs. Dorchester loved Archibald, and I did promise to take good care of him. My mother had a cup of tea and thought for a few moments. She looked angry and understanding at the same time. I gazed at the hamster lying peacefully in my hand. He was lying on his back, his feet up in the air. I could see his sharp little teeth. By this time I was starting to feel a little squeezy myself. "What shall we do with him?" I asked my mother again. My mother took Susie in the bathroom and cleaned him up again, sticking a crispy white band-aid on his right thumb. Susie squealed at the band-aid the same way he squealed at Archibald. My little brother was very easy to impress. Then she went in her bedroom and I heard her talking on the telephone. When she came out, she was holding a Nike shoebox, all nicely lined, with white tissue paper. A hygienic mask covered her mouth and nose. My mother handed me the box and reached in her drawer for a pair of latex gloves. She put them on and took a stiff Archibald from my hands. She placed them in the shoebox and closed the lid. "Your father is due back tonight," she said. "He will take care of Archibald." I heaved a sigh of relief. I was glad my father was due back from his business trip. I was glad he was taking care of Archibald. I was glad my mother was not exceptionally angry that I sneaked Archibald in. But to tell you the truth, I was kind of wishing poor old Archibald could have had a proper send-off, like, flowers and little animal friends visiting, even though my father would lay him to rest in our backyard, all in proper grace and stuff. And I'm sure Mooney would have something appropriate to say at a time like this, something suitable to the occasion, you might say. But the hard part was what to do about telling Mrs. Dorchester. "Mom," I said real low like, "what do we tell Mrs. Dorchester?" And I wonder if the problem gets resolved. Malcolm and the Hamster Lady. For all the kids and grown-ups who have and love hamsters. Thank you so much for listening.